Hello, today on Eyewitness Report, we take a look at infrastructure development and the quest to bridge the staggering deficit staring us in the face. Lagosians kick as gridlock cripple movement in parts of the city. These and more on Eyewitness Report. I'm Chris Elams. Infrastructure development is critical when placing countries in a ranking order. Now, take developed countries such as Germany, the United States, UK, Norway, Switzerland, for example. They have over a long period of time prioritized and funded very well infrastructure, both social and economic. Now, today, they are top ranking nations of the world, attracting investment in trillions of dollars. This is what a lot of African countries are still contending with. While experts say Nigeria will need as much as $30 billion annually for the next 10 years to plug our infrastructure deficit, the federal government appears to be pulling all strings in order to fix the much it could. Join us. The infrastructure space has seen massive rehabilitation, reconstruction and expansion work ongoing in both the rail and road subsectors across the length and breadth of the country. The federal government appears to have devised several other ways to finance some of the ongoing projects and ensure sustainability. The birth of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, the approval of the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, the 100 billion naira Sukuk bond, as well as the signing of the Executive Order 7 of 2019 on the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme may have been yielding the expected dividend. The frequency of heavy hazard loads to and fro the Apapa Wharf has drastically impacted the durability of the roads they ply. This gave rise to the need to construct the 34-kilometer Apapa Wharf-Oworonshoki Expressway in the southwest under the tax credit scheme at the cost of 72.9 billion naira. The Minister of Works and Housing recently undertook a tour of the project, which has been built to withstand pressure from the volume of trucks that find their way to the ports and tank farms around the Apapa axis.
The main carriageway up to concrete level, and then we've also started on the other lane.
He expresses delight at the impact and import of the project when completed.
The materials that are used now, instead of importing bitumen, we are using made in Nigeria cement. And that is good for keeping the cement factories going, employing people who mix, who produce, who bag, who transport. So there's an economy going on there. You heard from the controller also that about 5,000 trucks of aggregates have moved from the quarries to that side. That requires labor, it requires drivers, it requires trucks, it requires tires, it requires fuel. That is the underlying economy, apart from the 650 people who are employed in actual construction. So it's an economy going on. So when people say that, oh, how is President Buhari going to lift 100 million people out of poverty? These are some of the signs: creating work, allowing industries to move. You see iron rod being used for reinforcement. That's part of the economy. As you produce more of that, you understandably and inevitably have to employ people. It has to be transported. So we want to see all of those young boys and girls aborting the road, just living off the land, to get back to productive work so that we can all build our collective and shared prosperity.
Road construction has also continued on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, which is divided into two sections, 1 and 2. The Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, with an initial seed of $650 million and programmed to attract an aggregate investment capital of $2.5 trillion for the development of key public projects, has ensured this project, among others, is sustained. The expansion, reconstruction and rehabilitation of all these important roads is being hastened while the weather is still friendly.
And we are right now on Section 1 to fast-track the completion of the project, being a very important project to the federal government. We have broken it into two. Section 1 starts from Tollgate to terminate in Shagamu. It's handled by Julius Berger. Section 2 starts from where you have Section 1 stop and it terminates in Ojo. It's handled by RCC. And both are working simultaneously. We have even gone extra mile to break the two teams into 2-2 to fast-track the implementation of this and catching on this good weather to advance the project forward.
Other projects benefiting from the Presidential Infrastructure Fund include the Abuja-Kano Road project and the Second Niger Bridge, meant to complement the existing bridge, which appears too small considering the volume of traffic on that stretch.
Imagine a bridge that the federal government is spending over 200 billion. You know, when I got there myself to see it, because I don't believe in what people say, I'm going to need to go and see it myself. When I got there, the level of work is even above what is being shared all over the social media. And the engineers on the ground are telling us that the bridge is built to last over 100 years. I was marveled. Is it possible? That they told me that even the present Niger Bridge is built to last for about 50, 60 years, and this is going to last over 100 years. It's something that we have not, we've not imagined to happen within this present administration.
Visualization of the Diko Suleja Mina Road also takes center stage as work reaches an advanced stage. Similarly, work is ongoing at the Lambata-Lapei Agay Road and the new Busa Road in Bogu local government area of Niger State.
We are looking forward, asking your help. If there is any way to increase the budget, definitely we have the ability to do and the capacity to do much work. I hope you will give us time and go and visit our yard. You will see what we have done so far, and this makes us ready actually to do a big job in the quality that Gilmore knows to do out.
In Yobe State, northeast of the country, the 32-kilometer Unguru Gashua Road and the 37-kilometer Gashua Gayamari Road are a few of the roads being constructed. Also on the list is the Potiskum-Damaturu Highway and the Damaturu Bypass.
Initially, it was the issue of security that we are battling with on this R6. As it is now, sometimes you see the Boko Haram people, they block the road and they said we couldn't move again. And most of the laterites are being hauled from a distance. And the laterites hauling from a distance and they block the road, you delay the work to some extent.
The rail sector also experiences a number of changes, with the Rigasa to Abuja railway line already conveying passengers, as well as the soon-to-be-completed Lagos to Ibadan rail project, set to be completed this year at a cost of $1.6 billion.
A lot has gone into the project, according to the Honorable Minister. He's been on this for the past 3 years, thereabouts. Yeah, a lot has gone in, but until you push to the end of the project and you start deriving value from it, that's when we can say, well done, Honorable Minister.
Going from here to the seaport, you will see remarkable improvement, meaning that something was wrong before their chairman came. I'm going now to have another meeting with him, and we'll have a total conversation about how to move forward. But let's wait and see what will happen when we come on the February 20th. But if you look at, you can see the new stores has almost been completed in 3 to 4 days. That's because their chairman is coming. If they continue with that kind of speed, we expect that we should be able to commence activities on the track. The original time for the contract to have expired is April, right? In fact, May, not April. Now, they made an argument which you can't also fault. The argument they made is that, listen, additional works. Each additional work we gave them is 6 months. So if you add the 6 months to the time, you are talking about next year. You get the point. So instead of looking at law, look more of practicality and compare them to speed up.
The concentration of activities at the Lagos port to the detriment of others, such as the Warri and Calabar port, still raises cause for concern, as gridlock continues to hold businesses and residents in Lagos to ransom. All these efforts are geared towards bridging the huge infrastructure deficit in the country, which is set to require an estimated $30 billion annually for the next 10 years to fix. As far as infrastructure expert Onua Nnachi is concerned, there is so much more needed to be done.
What I expect government to be doing, and which if they can try and do that clearly, is let's begin to run what I would call a statistical infrastructure budget. Statistical infrastructure budget where you can give us numbers that make sense. Tell us as of today, on our road network, we have 10,000 kilometers of road, functional, good, in good conditions. And the next budget, we are looking at it to move it from that 10,000 to 12,000. On our port, we have this number of vessels that can be anchored on our seaport. In the next budget, we are looking to move it from 10,000 sheets berthing to 15,000 sheets berthing. Because for you to do that, 15,000, it means you have improved on the infrastructures, and that will clearly say on our health system today, we have only 10 good hospitals of standard of health pack. We say, okay, in this budget, we're adding an additional 2. And this will begin to make sense to me and to others that cares about the country. We have no other country other than this country. There's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be done, and the only way out is the private sector.
On his part, Honorable Toby Okechukwu wants to see the government leverage the road finance bill.
Presently, I've said elsewhere, we had about 4 trillion commitment in terms of contracts that have been awarded by the Ministry of Works. In 2019 alone, you have outstanding liabilities of about 306 billion. Now, in 2019, what was released as at last before the Christmas was 45 billion. So you see a situation where you are not going anywhere. And in real terms, what was budgeted was about 220 billion. So even when you take 220 billion to pay all the certificates that are outstanding, it will not be able to pay your outstanding liabilities. So you can understand the missing link and the gap you see with regard to various construction sites and the ability of the contractors to perform. Unless this is addressed through the road fund bill, which we have enacted, is a legislative solution to the infrastructure challenge. Unless that is done, we'll not be going anywhere. Anybody who are posting to Ministry of Works as a minister is a poster boy for failure. The road fund bill essentially sets up a body that will essentially manage funds that you get through road user charges. And those road user charges will come by way of international transportation, like you have Nigerians who are transported coming from Niger. They'll pay some stipend which will be collected from the motor companies, those traveling from Togo to Togo. Then you also have the issue of trucking in terms of weighing bridges, where, for instance, people have what we call overload. Then there will be charges to that effect. They also have advertisements on the roads.
Infrastructure development is an indicator of good governance and a great way to galvanize trade and commerce. As the federal government continues in its quest to revamp the sector, it will definitely be a welcome development to see that every project started is well funded to completion.